Welcome to the Business Spotlight Podcast. My name is David Beeson. I am your host for today's conversation. And my guest today is Len Bazile, the owner of Dirty Laundry Linen Services. We are going to talk about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to own and operate a business. Len, welcome to the show today. Thank you for being here. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. Dirty Laundry Linen Service. We're an industrial laundry located in Slidell, Louisiana. We're just outside of the New Orleans city limits. And we service hotels, the event industry from the rentals to venues. And we also just recently got into doing some work for the airlines here at the airport, some of their napkins and blankets and whatnot. And yeah, we've been in business 19 years. Started it out the back of a pickup truck and a coin operated laundry in 2006. And 2015, we moved into the facility that we're in now, which is about a 20,000 square foot facility. And we've been rapidly expanding since then. And we had the opportunity to buy the facility in 18 and have just been building the business over the years from there. So it's been fun, obviously, as we like it to be, and challenging at times as well. So thanks again for having me.
Yeah, of course. So kind of set the stage for the viewers and the listeners. Generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Are you the sole founder and owner? Do you have a partner, outside investors?
I am founder and sole owner. I did have a partnership for about 8 years, but currently I'm sole owner of the business.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I'm curious what your role's like in the business. What's the day? What's a day in the life of Lynn?
Uh, my life is pretty boring in a sense, and I say that with joy because uh, over the years I've become very disciplined in health and well-being and mental health. So I get up, I hit the sauna, gym in the morning. I typically am here at the office for anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. Um, and we have a general manager, we have an office manager, we have a director of facilities and maintenance, we have a production manager. So I do have a lot of help in managing and running the business. I also participate in the sales and customer service side of the business as well. So a few days a week, I'm in the city visiting current customers and also visiting potential customers if we have slots opened in our production schedule for new business. Um, so, probably get up 5:30 and we finish anywhere from 3:30 to 6:30. The plant kind of finishes up. And it's laundry is very consistent, David, because the hotels never close. And so
Yep.
we've got to be on point each day, all day.
Yep, makes sense. So
Yeah.
why'd you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to choosing to work for someone else? And what was the transition like for you?
Truthfully, uh, I've never worked for anyone. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've been through many different industries over the years, and started out selling candy in high school out of one backpack, and got into the catering industry early on, around 19 or 20. I traveled all over the southern U.S. boiling crawfish for oil companies and barge companies and just events. And from there, got into the restaurant and bar industry, then into office supplies, uh, then into real estate, rental properties, some construction, and then Katrina hit in '05. And coin op laundry, believe it or not, it's probably hard for a young man like you to believe, but I found it in the classified ads of a newspaper. I was just reading through and visited the store and uh, basically sat in there for like 2 months and was taking notes and doing numbers and really it didn't add up. I was like, man, $1.25 to wash and $1.50 on average to dry. I'm like, that's $2.75. I just don't know how anybody pays their bills on that. And believe it or not, I bought the store in August of '06 and paid it off in 6 months, I think.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
and around that time, I stumbled into the industrial laundry side. I had a friend that asked me to wash some table linen for him that went underwater for the storm. And Dirty Laundry Linen Service was kind of born out of that. I bought a trailer from Home Depot, a little 5x8 enclosed trailer, and started running around uh, talking to some of my contacts that I met when I was in the catering and restaurant business. And uh, Dirty Laundry was born, and we've grown from there to where we are today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you had to overcome?
That's a good question because, I think when you're bootstrapping and starting, on some family seed money or, friends and family, you're going to the bank for a small line. Uh, that's always the challenging part because what bank wants to invest in a young startup that has no financials, barely has a business plan and just has this idea. So I'd probably say financing the first few years of being able to secure financing to grow was the biggest challenge um, at, at that time that, starting the business, I would say financing was the biggest hurdle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. How did y'all end up getting like the financing? Like how did y'all end up securing it?
So believe it or not, the coin op that I started or that I bought had top load washers in it. And we had a few front load washers. And as the little drop off and delivery service, Dirty Laundry started, I was like, I really need to replace these top load washers with front loaders just for the wash quality to improve. So there were some assets there, obviously, that needed to be purchased. So a local bank wound up taking a chance on me and um, gave me an opportunity, gave me a loan to retool the store with some of the equipment that we needed to, start to expand our commercial service. And one of the local manufacturer reps here, believe it or not, um, and I still talk to him to this day, and I still use his uh, equipment. Is he essentially wrote a check and paid for 10 of those washers out of his pocket and told me that I can pay him back whenever I could. And that was huge. It was huge, his trust and his willingness to take a chance. And I am a loyal customer of his brand, and it's been a really great journey having him as part of that as well. Um,
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really good
so
to have like a business relationship like that.
absolutely, and I think all of us, trust is such a huge part of any relationship that we're in,
Yeah.
and especially when we're investing the type of money that it takes to start these businesses, especially laundry. For the listeners, laundry is a very asset heavy business. So it definitely takes a lot of startup capital to get in. And that was, going back, that was definitely the part that was constantly that roadblock that we had to push through and overcome. So,
Yeah. Well, so what makes your business unique? Like, how do you stand out against your competition?
you know, we are one of two local industrial laundries here in the New Orleans market. Both of the local laundries, I think, do a great job. What where we stand out is our attention to detail and then our level of communication with the customer. Um, when the customer calls, we don't have a recording or any sort of automated message. Like you speak to someone live, and you know, I think we all don't like when things don't go well, but I think the big one of the big advantages of us is we address our challenges right then and there and do our best to make the customer feel like we are in their corner and doing the best we can to solve that problem that we have. We're also, we're more old school as well, David, in the sense that I don't have a lot of technology. So we are very labor intensive, but in that it also allows us to have more human eyes on our linen. So our ability to catch stains and send that back for our reclaim process has really, helped us. And the fact that we mark all of that laundry stained for the customer if we are unable to get it clean. So I really feel like I know it sounds cliche, but our service and quality, we really stand behind. And I think we live up to it from the customer standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So, moving over to marketing for a little bit, I'm always curious what successful businesses are doing. What percentage of your monthly sales is typically invested back into your marketing budget?
We have never really marketed all that much outside of I did some SEO. Um, as I mentioned to you earlier, I did use the Action Coach uh, coaching platform on two different occasions while building this business. Um, we did some SEO, but quite honestly, we go face to face and I go to the hotels and introduce myself. And, this is such a big part of the hotel industry and their operations that I think, this isn't like office supplies, David, where every hand I shake is a potential. So mass marketing kind of pays off for that type of industry. We're a very niche industry in laundry, so I really do my research, and I have a gentleman that's currently helping me do some sales and marketing as well on a part-time basis. But we do our research, and then we go out, and if we go meet those hotels or event centers or event business owners ourselves personally. So to answer your question, it's um, very low investments or expenses on our marketing side.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense with laundry. Laundry is something that I feel like does market itself as well because it's like, oh, I need to wash my clothes. I need to go dry my clothes. I know that laundromat is half a mile down the street. I feel like it's
Correct.
very much
Yes.
uh, a market its own type of company.
Yes. And when I was in the coin op market, we had signs out. We catered to the Hispanic market quite a bit with the coin laundries, and so I mean, a lot of our marketing even then was word of mouth. Now on the industrial side, you know, we laundry at there's two things a hotel cannot rent a room without, and one is laundry and one is utilities. You can
Yeah.
miss a office chair, you can miss a pot or pan in there, but if you don't have a clean laundry or you don't have power, you cannot rent that room out to a guest. So we are an extremely important part of the operations of the hotel. So I'm a big proponent of face-to-face meetings and sales, so that I get a feel of who we're working with and they get a feel who they're going to be dealing with, because these contracts are anywhere from 2 to 5 years. So once you sign that, I mean, you're in a partnership for quite some time, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of resources on both sides that's invested to start a relationship in the laundry side of it.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how big is y'all's team? How many team members do y'all have?
Currently, we are right around 35 people.
Awesome. And how would you describe your leadership style in business?
You know, I did not finish school. I did not finish college, but I did take a course in leadership, and I think my style is more referent. I think being a founder and um, just being an entrepreneur, like there was so many times you had to you had to get up, work, do those, like a lot of hands on. So I would say I'm a more hands on leader. Like when I walk through the plant, if I see somebody needs help, I go help them. If I can cheer somebody up, I do that. So I would say I'm a more referent leader. Like I lead based on relationships with
Yeah.
with the team.
What has been your approach to hiring and retaining team members?
We have done. We do not have a lot of turnover. Our drivers have been our biggest challenge over the years. And with the drivers, we go through uh, just we've used some recruiting agencies, temp services. We've done Indeed. We've done all the job. Which is the word I'm looking for here? Some of these job seeking apps or whatnot, and drivers have been our biggest challenge. But every other business owner that I talk to that has drivers, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a tough it's a tough position to keep long term. Now,
Yeah, it's high turnover rate in the driving
yes,
industry.
our production staff is really word of mouth. I mean, we have applications. We have stacks of applications, and I think it's because we treat our team like humans, and we do our best to make them feel appreciated and welcomed. And thankfully, anytime somebody leaves, man, with we have somebody in the house the next day, or within 48 hours we have somebody else training in that position. So thankfully, um, I don't have a lot of issues with our team. But I will say, crediting Action Coach, when we do driver interviews, I do group interviews, which is one thing that I learned from our local Action Coach here, and it's been a game changer, especially on drivers, because your drivers for us is really our customer service sales reps. They're the ones out there every day. They're in front of the customer, and um, doing the group interview really shows kind of your rock star, and then it kind of shows that kind of bottom feeder, for lack of a better term, like that person that may not really want to be there. They're just there because they need a job.
Yeah.
So the group interview process for us has really been um, big, because who's got the confidence to have conversations with strangers, I guess would be a good way to put it. And when you're talking, at these hotels, you might meet somebody new or different every day for the first couple of months there. So I think that first impression is important. Um, and so, yeah, we we thankfully have very little t- turnover.
Awesome. Well, if you're ready, I think we'll transition to a couple rapid fire questions.
Sure.
What is the key to success for you?
Balance.
I like
You
that.
know, starting out, I was, I had three coin op laundries, a convenience store, and I was running this. I started this laundry service, and I was doing it all by myself, which is why I reached out to Action Coach. Um, and so, the big the hot word of today is grind, and I can tell you, I grinded firsthand for probably 8 years straight, 7 days a week, and after some medical issues, I learned the word balance and realizing I have to, as much as I want to push myself, I have to rest physically and mentally.
Yeah, I love that. What is one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Making sure that, you know, you're setting boundaries of how you are going to lead your company, and making sure that the team that you're surrounding yourself with complements uh, those boundaries and at the same time complements your weaknesses. I think it's important that your team is strong in your weaknesses. And I know a lot of business owners may not like to admit they have weaknesses, but we all do. And making sure that you have some strength in their weaknesses as well. And I think that that is just a great synergy that you have. I was once told that leadership and working with your admin team is kind of like snow skiing. It just should be nice and fluid and calm. And that's one thing that I have really focused on the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. What is a book or podcast you're currently reading or listening to right now?
Um, I've read a lot of books. I'm more on the Audible now, but from a business standpoint, one of the better books I've read was Good to Great. I think that's John Collins, maybe. Um, it was a it was a fantastic book that he did a lot of research on big companies and compared them to other companies that essentially um, went from good to great, and then some companies stayed at good, or some companies obviously went to mediocre and then wound up going out of business. That was a great one, and a big one of the big things I remember from that book, David, was my firm belief is if you're hired at our company, you're a good person. You're just a good human being. And when you get on our bus, we might have you in the wrong seat. And I remember John talking about that is if you think that person is right for the bus, making sure they're in the right seat in your organization. And so I think Good to Great has been a great book.
Awesome. I'll need to check it out. Before we get to the final question of the day, would you like to share with our audience how they can follow you, learn more, contact you?
Website is www.nolalaundry.com. I'm not on social media. Believe it or not, I have not had a TV for over 10 years now.
Oh,
So I'm,
wow.
I'm very private, and I kind of stick to myself, but you can contact us through the website. Um, you know, other than that, I don't really have on the website. You can call the office phone, but other than that, I don't really have a way to get in touch with me uh, for the general public.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
we've come to
man.
the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
Man, I go back to balance. I go back to family. I go back to, I am, I I essentially gave up family life for my business, and I just made 50 this year, and I wish that I would have focused a little bit more on family. I really love our team here. We have a lot of good people, a lot of good humans, and so they're kind of my family. Um, but it was I think I think I do what a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs do is we focus on that business so strong, and it's almost you you push everything else aside. And I think as as we age, um, we start to realize that. And so today I play a lot of pickleball. I use a lot of sauna, and I mountain bike a lot. I road bike. I just really do my best to stay active, get in nature, and just realize that business is great, but business is not gonna be there for you if you're sick or injured or anything like that. So keeping that balance in mind, that as much as I want to push through and work and work and work, you've got to take some time for yourself, for your family, and that's what I'm focusing on a lot now. And I didn't share this, but I will now. I had open heart surgery when I was 42,
Mm.
and that definitely changed a lot for me. So the last probably 8 to 10 years has been a different journey, and I'm very thankful. I feel great. Thankful for a second chance, and yeah, just doing my best to realize that we only get one shot. So
Yeah, I just turned 26, but I have a baby on the way, and that's made me really think a lot in terms of like, okay, I'm young still. I should start getting back into shape. I should start, trying to lose some weight, go just be active because I want to be around for a long time for my
thank you.
child. And you know, it's very easy sometimes to like let yourself go for a couple weeks, but that's something I'm trying to get away from is going back to being consistent in the gym like how I was in college. So,
Right, and it's I think falling off the wagon, so to speak, there's nothing wrong with it. It's really getting back up and getting
mhm.
back on the wagon. If you fall off for a few weeks, it's no big deal. I think a lot of us are like, "Oh man, I can't believe I fell off the wagon." You know, I'm 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 not in a good place. I'm eating pizza. I'm eating donuts. I'm not going to the gym. But at the end of the day, it's I mean, it's really what life is about. It's falling down and getting back up, and falling down and getting back up, and never stopping until you fall down for the last time. And
Yeah.
this perfect life that social media paints, and it's 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 all false, man. It's life is about overcoming the challenges that you will have as a 26-year-old and as you're going to have as a 66-year-old.
Yep. Yep. I
So
couldn't agree more.
yeah.
Um, well, this was a great conversation, and I really enjoyed getting to hear your story. So thank you so much for sharing. Also, I just encourage all of you watching to save this show and come back and watch it again because Lynn really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Lynn, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
David, I've enjoyed it as well. Thank you.
And I will see you all in the next episode.